Peace, peace, and as always, Black Power family. Welcome to another Carolina House of Consciousness production of Me, Myself, and Carolina. I am your host, Brother Darrell, and along with Mikasa Delani, we're down here at the Durham Hayti Heritage Center, watching Wilmington on fire and getting reaction from the family. It was a massacre in 1898, a coodaytah. Do the research, family. Peace and Black Power.
All right. Peace and Black Power, brother. Hey, what's your name?
Lawrence.
All right. You tell me what you just saw and what was the name of it?
We just saw a documentary on the riot of 1898 in Wilmington.
Right. Wilmington on fire?
Yeah.
All right. What did you learn from it? What valuable key points did you get from that?
It's just like it was an enlightening thing. You know, I was aware. I didn't even know about it. You know, like we taught in school about like a lot of history from like around the United States, but not a lot of local history.
Right.
So it was I learned how really white supremacy, like these people use their power in a bad way to take over, take over the town.
Right. So tell me, how important is Black history to you?
Very important. I'm Black.
That's right. I'm
Black, so it means everything to me.
That's right. Good answer, brother. So, from what you learned from the movie, how are you going to take it and apply it to your life from this day on?
Just be aware, educate myself, and educate others around me.
Right. Anything you want to say to the people out there?
Nah, just live life, have fun, and be aware of things, and just make sure you educate yourself, and don't fall for it. I don't know.
That's right. That's peace, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you. Tell us your name.
Latasha McMillan.
Right. So tell me a little bit about Wilmington on Fire.
The movie is very empowering. I feel like it's just another part of history that I've already heard about, already seen. I just never felt that North Carolina had that ability to bring out that type of history. So it was really shocking. And I mentioned in there that I got anxiety because anytime that somebody informs you about something, it's almost you have this instinct, dang, now I gotta do something about it.
Right.
But when they give you the information, sometimes they never really give you the tools on how to do something about it. So that's kind of what it was.
So tell me, what does Black history mean to you?
I just first want to say that American history of Black people don't even cover what that means. So that's my first issue. Secondly, I think for some reason it's been capped. Like it's been stopped at a certain. Well, I feel like in my mind, what stopped is the death of Martin Luther King Jr. and that's where our history tends to end and what we tend to celebrate. And that's over 40 to 50 years now. It's like, okay, what's next? And like, what about all of these different things that have happened? So we tend to put like a cap on what that history is in the beginning, like back to the Moors and how the Moors educated.
Talking about ancient history now.
You know what I mean? And that's still a part of who I am because if I understand it, then I understand that nobody who's white has ever really taught me anything about education that they didn't learn from my Moor ancestors. You know what I mean?
Right. So tell me one valuable key point that you learned from the presentation today. It's in you. I know you got it because I hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, honestly, to charge our history and that means that now it even furthers our idea of what white privilege is. And I really was hoping that somebody said that nobody, when they were talking about the like restitutions, about how no white person living is responsible for slavery, but every white person living reaps the benefits of that, and that's what's important.
Peace, brother.
To me, that we educate, and why those people are owed that money, because those people wouldn't even be millionaires had they not killed those people. And I can't. I mean, I just didn't want to take over and say
so I see that you're very, very well versed. So tell me. From this point on, after seeing the presentation, how would you take what you learned and apply it in your everyday life?
Well, first of all, I work with high school students now who are all African American, or Black. Every day I'm telling them, I'm charging them to make sure that they realize that you're going to have to work 40 times harder. It don't matter what what you know, you're going to still have to work a little bit harder. And just for example, me and my nephew are going to go see the Jesse Owens movie.
Right.
So just making sure that my nephew understands that power is in him. And a good thing about what I'm speaking of my nephews, he really loves the song "I'm a Classic Man." And I told him, I was like, do you know what that means? He said, that means that I'm powerful, that means all of these things. I said, and it's great that Jedediah is South African, so he has this classic, this whole idea about man. And I just want to encourage especially black men about what that means, and how they really are the leaders of my community, and I want them to grow up and understand that they lead the community, and women honestly are just supposed to be this moving force behind them to make sure that things are getting done and that our voices are being heard.
Right. What do you want to say to the viewers out there?
Go watch this movie, but don't stop there. Research. Right now I'm doing research on the African in Peru and Mexico and Brazil and Argentina, and the understanding about how the only difference between black people in America and black people in Haiti or black people in Puerto Rico is a boat stop.
Appreciate it, sister. Thank you. Peace and black power. We have two beautiful young queens with us this evening who just stopped in and saw the presentation. We want to get your take on it. What was it that you learned from the presentation?
I don't think I learned anything different. I was aware of the riots in Wilmington. What I appreciated, though, was the manner in which it was put together, the obvious research that went into determining what happened and how it happened. People are inherently evil. You can cut that.
No, we're not gonna cut it, because that's real and that's what we want.
That's exactly.
You know what?
What else what other conclusion can you draw from a situation?
Yes.
Everywhere he has gone, he has come in with chaos and with destruction. And I am not a reverse racist. I don't think such a thing exists. But I think that fundamentally there is a sickness a pervasive with that race. Thank you so much for this wonderful film.
It's very rare that we hear, as young people, that we hear our elders put their finger on exactly who he is, what he is, and what he has done. A lot of our elders like to brush over it. You understand what I'm saying? And oh man, it's just a blessing to hear you say that. So what did you get from the presentation?
Well, I had heard I'd heard the term Wilmington riots. I really didn't know anything in depth about what happened. And so this was an excellent presentation to understand that this was deliberate. This was done because people had wealth. It's not because there's something wrong with us. It's because it was plundered from us over the years, starting with slavery, all the way through the early 19th century, all the way through the housing bill, the GI Bill, the Social Security. That's why we don't have wealth. There's nothing wrong with us. What's wrong is this deeply, as Ta-Nehisi Coates says, congenitally racist system.
So, one last question. Tell me what Black history means to you.
I guess an opportunity for us to remind ourselves that we are here and we are worthy. We are told so often that we are not. We are. There is, as my friend just said, nothing wrong with us. Absolutely nothing wrong with us. So Black history for me means that we are here
Yeah.
and that we are worthy.
Yeah. And we are
Yes.
remarkable people.
Yes. Just
Nobody,
for being here.
if you look at the history, no other group of people, non-white, who came in contact with them is still surviving. The Native Americans are gone, the Arawak Indians are gone, the Hawaiians are gone, everybody's gone but us.
Yep. We are remarkable
We survived
people.
them.
Yeah.
We are remarkable people. I think we need to tell each other that.
We appreciate it. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
Much love, Queens.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Peace and black power. What's your name, brother?
My name's Antonio White.
Harvey Hinton III.
All right. So we're here at the Wilmington on Fire presentation. So just tell us a little bit about what it is that you got from the presentation.
Well, I learned some more history. Coming into this, I knew a little bit about the Wilmington riots that happened, and coming out of it now, I just feel, I don't know, I feel like I have an obligation to go out and try to help the black community and educate the black community so we can all move together in a coalition. And then once we get our community together, then we can go out to a bigger community so all of us can be on one accord and then move together as a people.
And you, brother?
I think it's refreshing to have these young people here and to see their enlightenment happen. The film is full of facts and information and very clear imagery, and you can see how this was done legally, illegally but legally. And so it really removes all doubt and question when you begin to really understand what's really going on. I mean, it's all right there. So it's an excellent presentation, and just to see the young people experience that enlightenment is just precious.
All right. So tell me, what does Black history mean to you?
Black history, what does it mean to me? Well, to me it means that I'm special. I come from high people. I came from kings and queens. Well, in America, being taught Black history, you only get only a certain spot of it. But it wasn't until my dad and I had a conversation of who I really am. It just made me realize that being Black is something special.
That's right.
Well, it's Black history is every day with me, but the idea of having a month, knowing that Carter G. Woodson made it intentional for us to understand our history began before slavery. So it's great to celebrate the accomplishments of the 20th century or the 21st century and those to come forward as we prepare for that. But the reality is it's an opportunity for us to understand our African origins and the history of Africans and the work that Africans have done on the world stage. So this is a great opportunity, a great time.
I heard you say something, brother, and I wanna dig into it a little bit. I think we all know that we didn't come here as slaves. We were kings and queens kidnapped and brought here to be slaves. So how does it make you feel that the story has been told that we were brought here as slaves from the outside society, but we know the real origins of us?
Well, to me, learning it for the first time, I was really upset. I'm not gonna lie. I was upset for quite some time and almost just really wanted to hit a couple of people for not telling me my history and everything. But it was just, it's just amazing how a system can hide information to try to keep you down. And once you figure out that information, then now you have to get ready and go into battle so you can try to convert this system into something better.
I think it forces us to look at each other in different light. You know, I know that you were someone else before you came into this point. I know that whoever you are being at this point is just a shell of who you are capable of being. So,
hey, we appreciate you, brothers.
bless you, man.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right.
Peace and black power. What's your name, Queen?
Greetings, I'm Aya Shabu.
What's your name, Princess?
Fumi Shabu.
All right. What's your name, King?
Delacey Keyshawn Hope.
All right. So what we're doing interviews on the presentation we just made, Wilmington on Fire. We want to know, what did you get from it and what did you learn, if anything?
I really appreciated Umar Johnson's comment around imagery and propaganda. that when we look at the amount of propaganda that exists around any particular issue, what we can expect is the same intensity in terms of, he used the word extermination, and as a political and military strategy, and the rate at which African American folks consume really inappropriate and disastrous media, television, radio, music, we should be really alarmed. This is not just entertainment.
Right. That's right. So, what did you learn, Queen?
That the white people aren't supposed to kill black people even though they didn't do anything.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What you learn, young brother?
I learned that that white people should not kill black people because we are all the same people.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we thank Princess, Young King. We appreciate you. You're a part of MMC. That's me, myself, and Carolina. This is the Carolina House of Consciousness that you're on. All right? Thank you. What's your name, brother?
Carson Ellerby.
All right. So you just came out of the presentation for Women on Fire, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Tell us a little bit about what you learned and what you got from the presentation.
Okay. So I had heard a little bit about the Wilmington riots before, but like just being at the film, I mean, it was captivating for me because, like, you know, just hearing about all the bloodshed and all of the wealth that was lost within the black community and, you know, Wilmington as a whole. Right. And, you know, just the fact that not enough people know about this is, you know, like some other people said in the forum discussion, is concerning, you know. So I mean, definitely just learning about how, you know, black enterprise was there and is still there, but, you know, has been taken away, you know, many times over and over again. Okay. So very quick. Yeah.
So explain to us about what black history means to you specifically.
Well, I mean, it just means, you know, just remembering and not forgetting, you know, all the sacrifices that our ancestors and, you know, our current generation, you know, has, you know, put out, you know, for us to, you know, progress and everything. Because, like, you know, black history is just the accumulation of all the just all the experiences and all of the pain that we went through, you know, to get to this moment. And, you know, I feel like, you know, just knowledge is power, you know. So, you know, if we learn about what, you know, our slave ancestors did, what, you know, the greatest leaders of the civil rights movement and some of the people who weren't mentioned, right, you know, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and the 70s have done, you know, then we can be proud of that and continue to be proud and not just rely on, you know, petty things like, you know, because like even with sports, for example, you know, Cam Newton, I would say, oh, sure thing. Because, like, you know, people like Cam Newton, for example, I mean, he could even be considered part of black history because, you know, he has to deal with petty, you know, racism sometimes, right? And so for him to kind of show himself, you know, being proud, you know, just being happy and, you know, being under a black agent, for example, just kind of shows, again, that, you know, we can, you know, prosper, you know, even through lots of discrimination and oppression. Right. So black history is just a collection of, like, all of our pain, all of our triumphs, you know. So
how old are you, young brother?
So I'm 19.
19.
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me, or tell us, from what you learned today, how are you going to take it
and that, you know, I continue to learn more about, you know, just making sure that I learn more about history and making sure that, you know, even though I'm going to a PWI, for example, that I don't sell out, for example, you know. Right. I mean, I'm okay with, you know, going on, you know, getting a job, for example, at a, say it's a financial company, right? But just making sure that I don't, you know, sell, you know, kind of like, just sell, you know, my identity for just society in general. So just making sure that, you know, that I stay true and that, you know, my friends, you know, I inform my friends about, you know, the history that, you know, has been presented to me and others, you know. So just making sure that, you know, I continue to be a proud black man, but at the same time, you know, just accept equality, accept, you know, diversity without taking away, you know, our enterprise. So,
and we thank you, man. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Very nice to meet you.
Peace and black power.
You know.
Yes, sir. Peace and Black Power. You on the set of MMC, Me, Myself, and Carolina. We call this the Carolina House of Consciousness, where we try to bring a level of consciousness to Durham, North Carolina. Okay. So we got you coming in. Tell us what it is you're going to see.
I'm going to see a historical fact that occurred in Wilmington, and I've been hearing much about it over the years, and I figured by coming to the film I can get more clarity and more details.
Right. So, are there any do you have any expectations going in to watch the documentary?
Probably the biggest expectation is to kind of figure out, you know, how we can move forward and not allow such a thing to happen again.
Right. All right. So, what does Black history mean to you?
I'm Black history, you know. All Black people are Black history. We have ancestors, you know, and so it means everything. It's my life.
That's right. All right, appreciate it, brother. All right. Thank you for your time. Yes, sir. Peace and Black Power. Tell us your name, sister.
My name is Kimberly Pierce Cartwright.
So you're coming out of the presentation, Wilmington on Fire, yes. Correct? All right. Tell us a little bit about what you learned and what you got from the presentation.
I'd heard about the massacre of 1890 and actually going to visit some of the historic sites. I spoke with Chris Everett earlier today just to get some thoughts about where he was coming from when he did it, and seeing the film and then hearing what he had to say earlier, my expectations were not as high as what was presented on the screen. It was an amazing piece of history, and I'm sure that it can be archived in history, and I feel like he is now, with this endeavor, one of the keepers of our history as a young man, and I'm very much excited about that.
So you've traveled in and out of Wilmington?
I'm from Hallsboro, North Carolina, and that is about 38 miles west of Wilmington. And I had an opportunity to talk about a little bit of the Wilmington history from the Bellamy House and the Bellamys, who were slave owners, and then Highway 76 going to Chadburn, where the Bellamys had slave holdings in Chadburn, and just to talk to him about like the history around Wilmington and to get a better perspective of what African Americans were subject to during that time. It sort of brought together a clearer picture of what was happening to slaves at the time, or enslaved people at the time.
So tell me a little bit about, if you can, the massacre of 1898. Do you see any long-lasting effects that are still going on today?
Of course, it's long-lasting, and with the film you could see the prosperity prior to 1898, and then after the massacre, and then people not being able to regain the wealth, but then the people who were the white people and the people who were inflicting this pain on these people, they are still wealthy people. A lot of them still live in Wilmington. I'm sure their descendants have gone to other places, but they got a chance to keep their wealth. And then African Americans, and the next street over is a street of abandonment and a street of poverty. So there are some prosperous pockets, but then there are people who still haven't recovered, and then there's still people in the film who are actually asking for reparations because they can trace their lineage back to that time, and they can only imagine what their wealth would be like had Wilmington been allowed to prosper in the way that that it could have had it not been subject to the massacre.
So how important is it for us as a people to look back at the time before the massacre, how we work together, how we build our communities? How important is it for us to do that today in real time?
It's very important, and if you tied in like the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think about people like waking up from a very long sleep and then coming to the knowledge of what life could be like, because we see what happened in history. And I'm always really very saddened by what I see today, especially with our young black men, not only are other people killing young black men, but young black men killing ourselves. And I think about the Black Lives Matter movement, and I have the question too: if Black Lives Matter and we want it to matter to other people, then it should really matter to us, and then we should really dig really deep and find some solutions and some places for these young black men to go, to be educated, to be nurtured, to become whatever they can be at their fullest potential. So yes, it all correlates, and we need to wake up ourselves so that we can help ourselves and not depend. You don't have to get that, it's okay.
That's fine.
So that we wake up ourselves so we can instruct ourselves, because we can't depend on other people to do it for us or even to give us reparations. It's out of the question.
Okay. So we scratched the surface a little bit.
Yes.
And I heard you say a couple things that I want to go into. What do you think about, or how do you feel about Black Lives Matter, and what does it mean to you?
I'm excited by the possibility of Black Lives Matter, and just like I said, it brings up a wellspring of possibilities for us to be able to learn and to grow within ourselves. But the downside of it is, just like I said, if it matters to us and we want it to matter to other people, then it really should matter, and we should look for some solutions to help us out of poverty, help us to know ourselves, help us to love ourselves. I thoroughly appreciate Black Lives Matter, but I think it will take more than Black Lives Matter to juxtapose us into a position where we really can prosper in America, where we live.
So what do you think will help catapult us to what you're talking about?
Well, people doing things. So, I can walk down the street and hold up a sign that says Black Lives Matter. But if I'm not mentoring kids, if I'm not talking about it, if I'm not trying to make somebody else's situation better or my own situation better, then it doesn't really matter. It'll take a coalition of people and everybody in the same mindset, like-mindedness to move forward economically, spiritually. We need to really love each other, and I think that is probably the core of what can get us to a different kind of future.
So how important do you think it is for our black youth to come and see what we once were and try to tie that into today? Because I think that one of our main problems is that we don't know or we don't understand who we were. I think there was a phrase, a slogan that's been put out there that we were slaves brought here, and our young kids don't know that we were kings and queens kidnapped, brought here. So how can we tie in our rich history to our youth today to kind of change the situation around?
Just by having them come to events like this. And I think that a lot of people who aren't youth, old people like me, were very much surprised when they came here. But a lot of us don't read, and a lot of us don't do things outside of Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or listening to radio stations where women are called whatever. So I think that it's very essential that there is a base of people or a place where people have a repository and know. I don't know. Who do you think you are? And then from that, who do you think you are? You're kings and queens, and and we unlock our minds and move to a better place and know that there's a better place. Maybe we'll do a little better. Right. And it's really hard for us to expect young people to just kind of take flight on their own. They didn't get there just because they're there, and our parents really wanted us to be better than them, and I think that we took away the concept of work for what we want. We took away the idea that you need to go and read and learn, and replace it with these things that don't make sense.
One last question.
Okay.
A little bit of controversial question per se.
Controversial question.
Yeah.
I will answer this question if you give me that ring.
Oh, so you know what that means.
It's fabulous.
That's right.
What a man.
What do you think of the Caucasian?
They're lovely people. They're people. And I have nothing but love for people. I don't like what they did, and I don't like what they're still doing. And their spirits and their mind on this land together in harmony. It's not going to happen. I don't think in my lifetime. Unless there is an apocalypse and everybody gets leveled and we all have to fend for ourselves. How about that?
Yeah. We appreciate you for your time.
Yes.
You've been on MMC.
MMC.
Me, Myself, and Carolina.
Me, Myself, and Carolina.
This is called the Carolina House of Consciousness.
Wonderful.
Where the brother and a couple of us try to bring a level of consciousness to Durham, North Carolina.
Wonderful.
So this is just the beginning, and we're going to try to move out in the streets and, get with the youth and let them know what we once were, so they can have something higher to inspire to.
Where can I see this? So where can people see this?
You can see this on YouTube at
YouTube. Wonderful.
Me, Myself, and Carolina.
Wonderful.
All right.
Nice to meet
We
you,
thank you.
brother.
Appreciate it, Queen.
You're welcome. All right.
Ready? Go ahead. Peace and Black Power. What's your name, sister?
Lakeisha Phillips.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your business, what service it is that you supply, and how the people out there can get in contact you if they wanted to get with you on the business.
Okay, my business is Occasional Blends, located in Durham, North Carolina. I customize gift baskets and candles. You can follow me on Facebook at www.com, Facebook Occasional Blends, Instagram Occasional Blends. You can check out our website at www.com, Occasional Blends, www.occasionalblends.bigcartel.com. Thank you.
All right, and this is one of her products that she did for me. It's a candle with the little baby feet and a message for a baby shower tomorrow. It says, 2 little feet, we can't wait to meet baby Jewel. We like to support black business, so all the viewers out there, check her out, Occasional Blends. Peace and Black Power.
Philosophy that whole one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, totally destroyed. Well, every